Hello, everybody. Dr. Sharon here. I am so excited about the Emotional Civility Conference that is coming up on March 26th from 7 to 9 p.m. Myself and my company, KCG Consulting Services, is launching its first annual Emotional Civility Conference. Are you ready to handle the future emotionally? Emotional civility is not something that can be shown once. It must be exhibited over time with grace, class, elegance, and truth. And so on March 26th at 7 p.m., we're going to honor four individuals that have stood unwavering in their sphere of influence as a beacon of confidence, never letting the faces of society budge them from being the voice of civility. So join us on March 26th at 7 p.m. I'm guaranteed that it's going to bless you.
It's not often that you meet a trailblazer who is not afraid to be first, who is not afraid to take on topics that the nations have to address. Today, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others Dr. Sharon Anderson. She is a compassionate and caring woman who has a heart for people, especially those in need. Her commitment to serving the community is unparalleled. It is known throughout the nation. She embraces vision, she puts legs to vision, and she ensures that it is carried out with precision and integrity. She works in tandem with community leaders, faith-based organizations, and community activists, both nationally and globally. Her unyielding spirit and positive energy compels her to work tirelessly on behalf of those who are disenfranchised. Her Harvard degree, her time as a pastor, her commitment to hard work, and her unwavering love for God makes her an unmatched vision for 2020 and beyond. I present to some, I introduce to others, none other than Dr. Sharon Anderson.
Good evening, United States and viewers from around the world. I am pleased to welcome you to the first annual Emotional Civility Conference. Are you ready to handle the future emotionally? The goal and purpose of this conference today is to introduce to you and the world the concept of emotional civility and bring greater awareness of the need for emotional civility given the challenges that we are facing globally, nationally, in all spheres of life. In doing so, I could not bring greater awareness to this new paradigm without recognizing global leaders and global giants in the field of civility that have blazed the trail before me and have made major impact in the world by ensuring that civility is not just a concept, but by building civility, speaking civility, modeling civility, teaching civility, and they have worked to ensure that civility is part of our everyday lives. JFK said that civility is not a sign of weakness and sincerity is subject to proof, but never to let us negotiate out of fear, but let us to fear to negotiate. And the awardees that I'm going to recognize today have definitely shown that claiming and caring for one's identities, needs, and beliefs is important without degrading someone else's in the process. And two of our awardees coined that phrase and lived that phrase. Civility requires us to be willing to be open-minded and open-minded in having our own opinions without being challenged negatively by others who might share a different perspective. So you might be asking, what is emotional civility? Why are we having an emotional civility conference? Why is this so important? Emotional civility is the work that you do when you're thrown a curve, when something hits you in the gut. And it's that space between your head and your heart, the moment that that negativity hits that gut, and you choose to act with civility when the circumstances might scream otherwise. That is emotional civility. And the need today is unparalleled. We are living in a society right now that is tilted with uncivil speech and towards uncivil actions. And thankfully, God gives us leaders and trailblazers to light and guide our path. And there is one bright light in this time of uncertainty and challenge that is with me today as my co host to bring life and meaning to the word civility in our world and in our nation. And that is none other than the father of civility, Dr. Sir Clyde Rivers.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Always good to be with you.
Always good to have you. Dr. Rivers, I just have to tell the people about you before we begin. And one thing that I have to say, and I'm so thankful that you're here with me, is that God gives you mentors at various levels in your life and in various aspects of your life. And about a year ago, I had the pleasure of having Dr. Rivers in my class in the Primus University School of Theology. And we both ended up speaking at the forum for Primus. And we went out for dinner and we started having a conversation, and God spoke to him about what I needed to do with respect to this platform as I was teaching about the civility of Jesus and about the emotional intelligence of Jesus and how all of that played a part in how we should move forward in our life. And he spoke into my life and told me to do it now. And I can just say that my life has taken a tremendous turnaround as a result of his selflessness, as a result of his desire to ensure that everyone that he comes into contact with is a better person. Dr. Rivers is, and we got to say this, and then I'm going to let you go, but is the acting representative to the United Nations for the Interfaith Peace Building Initiative in the United Nations Department of Public Information. He is the acting ambassador and the director of the North American Division of the Golden Rule International. He is the spokesperson for the World Civility Day and Community Civility Courts Initiative. In 2017, Dr. Rivers won the United States Presidential Life Achievement Award for over 4,000 hours of serving the nation and humanity. He is the recipient of the Danny K. Davis Peace Prize Award, the by U.S. Congressman of Illinois, and he is just a phenomenal man of God. He's been awarded by the late Nelson Mandela. He has been recognized as someone in impactful by the country of Burundi. And many of those that are on the line with me today have been significantly impacted in his unwavering dedication to the golden rule. And that is treat others as you want to be treated. So Dr. Rivers, talk to us today about the need for civility and why even this new paradigm of emotional civility is so important, and why you even pressed me to start really studying in this vein.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. You know, one of the most important things is I tell people there's 7.8 billion people in the world, and they all have a gift that's going to solve someone's problem. So we have to change the entire narrative and bring it back to the value of people. Because when you understand that that person that you're mistreating may be the one that has an answer to help solve a problem in your family.
Right.
And see, it's so important that we understand that. And of course, I'm coming from a biblical worldview, but I work with everyone in the world. I'm not stuck in anything. People are valuable because of the contribution they can add to the world. So every time a life is lost, we've lost a potential positive contribution that could help somebody in the world. And I believe emotional civility is one of the most important things. I've written a book called When Histories Collide. And in this book, I discovered that everyone's truth is their reality. So if you're talking to someone, they're bringing their historical information to every conversation. Right. And if their historical information is different than yours, it doesn't make them wrong. And if your information is different, it doesn't make you wrong. It's just your historical experiences are coming to the table. So when histories collide, and we know it, we have to listen to each other for change.
That's right.
And this is one of the concepts. And emotional civility, man, it's one of the most. How many people are in prison today or dead because that 1 minute, that
1 minute.
second, that 1 second where their emotions, where they lost their control, they did something tragic. And
That's right.
and Dr. Anderson, you are the forerunner. You are the modern day philosopher of emotional civility, and we're honored to have you lead this stage for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's true. And thank you for using that example. And that really has catapulted me and really and compelled me to write the book that's coming out in the next 30 to 60 days. And that's Emotional Civility, the New Standard for Global Success. We know as a result of this pandemic, and it took me over a year to write this book. And I do believe it was because God wanted it for such a time as this, with all of the different crises that we're dealing with as a result of the pandemic and as a result of the Band-Aid that the pandemic actually pulled off of issues that we've been dealing with forever. And again, these issues, as you said, it's not a religious issue, it's not a race issue, it's not a color issue, it is a human issue.
Yes.
And we as humans, regardless of race, creed, socioeconomic status, religion, we have an issue that if we don't begin to go back to the basics, which is, as you've said, treat everybody as you deserve to be treated, we then will continue to see issues spiral out of control. So what have we seen? The U.S. And again in the world, there's this growing awareness came because of these issues that our societies are dealing with. And again, it's not a United States issue, it's global. So we see in the United States just recently the attacks on Asian women in Georgia. Emotional civility is a root cause of that, or incivility rather, is a root cause of that. We've seen attacks on the Muslim community because, again, of an issue, of an idea that was incorrect and uninformed. Emotional civility at the root of that issue, racial injustice, police brutality, emotional civility, a root issue. I'll never forget one thing that really, really said right now was when that police officer confronted a young man who was drunk and dealing with an issue that was in his marriage. And he was at a Wendy's, and the police officer, instead of taking him home, he ended up killing him as a result of not just taking that moment to say, how can I help this human being who's obviously struggling? So racial injustice, police brutality, food insecurity issues globally, whether it's in the United States or in the world, the root of that is emotional civility or lack thereof, health issues, gender equality, water security, environmental justice, mental health issues, gun violence. All of these things are at their root has a foundation in emotional civility. If we learn to care about the needs of someone else, and if we learn to consider someone else's needs before our own, we can see and begin to change and turn around some of these issues that are plaguing us around the world. And we know from just talking with one of our awardees that Kenya has a tremendous issue now as it relates to the coronavirus, and their borders have closed. And again, this is something that we're seeing worldwide. And so I believe that we're experiencing globally not one pandemic, but almost 10 pandemics, and all of them are lack of civility is really at the root. And how, if it's not causing it, how we're handling it is certainly one of the problems. And so I'm thankful that you're here with me today, and I'm thankful that you're here with me to give honor to those who have trailed aside you and been trailblazers beside you, because you certainly, in my view, and we've all said it, you are the father of civility, and have been ensuring that in every country, in every area, that civility is championed. And so we thank God for your leadership. We thank God for your persistence. We thank God for your selflessness and actually modeling civility and taking the time to see the giftings and the talents that someone else has and pulling them out so that, as you said, we can be more impactful together in the world. So we thank God for you. So are you ready for us to give out these awards today? And talk a little bit more with these great leaders?
Yes.
All right. So let's introduce our awardees for today, because we are so thankful for the impact that all of them have had in the world. And we have a brief video clip that's going to introduce them to you and the great work that they've done globally. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. Congratulations to all of our awardees. Wow. We are so thankful for the impact that you've had. And so now let's meet them, and let's show our viewers the great impact and the great work that they are doing and continue to do in this area. So our first awardees are Cassandra Donkey and Thomas Spath. And Cassandra, congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Amazing,
thank you so much. Work. Yes, yes. Cassandra and Thomas, for those that are listening, are the co-founders of the Civility Institute for Government, and they are our Emotional Civility Legacy awardees. And they are recognized as leading civility experts. They have developed multifaceted educational approaches that encourage civil behavior while working to provide citizens with the skill set to identify and practice civility and expect it in return. Tomas was born in Argentina, and so he also introduces a cross-cultural approach, and they have just a tremendous story and a tremendous testimony, and have some great things coming up with respect to their institute. And so again, congratulations, Cassandra and Tomas. Please, please tell our viewers about why civility is important to you. Tell us about your work, and also tell us about what you have coming up in May.
Thank you both so much. And for everyone who's joining us this evening, we really appreciate it. We are so honored to be among this stellar group of individuals that you all are bringing together. For us, the civility journey started back in the 1990s when we were leading legislative conferences to Washington, D.C. for adults. And it didn't take us long to realize that, at least in our country, and I suspect many others, that we basically lack the skill set we need to know how to simply talk with one another when we disagree. Not even trying to reach consensus, just stay present with one another and talk about the various issues and what it is we disagree on and what it is we can agree on. And so we spent about 2 years looking for someone who was addressing this issue and couldn't find anyone, so stepped into that vacuum to help people realize how essential civility is. Unfortunately, civility is one of those things that people don't realize how important it is until it disappears.
Mm.
They're like,
Wow.
oh, they're like, where did that go?
Yes, absolutely.
We are very aware that civility is something that we cannot take for granted, that we constantly need to be teaching, reinforcing, building, sharing, in order to perpetuate that as a true value within our society and a real practice in our local communities and within our countries, within our government, and one-on-one, across the kitchen table to international diplomacy.
Mm.
So we weren't very far into this journey when someone said, well, what are you even talking about civility? Because we were, I guess, so far ahead of the curve that people weren't discussing it at that time. And so we said, well, we'll get back to you on that. And that's when we came up with the definition you mentioned, that
Yes.
civility is claiming and caring for one's identity, needs, and beliefs without degrading someone else's in the process. So it's not just about going along to get along. It's important to know yourself. And that resonates so deeply with your comments, Dr. Anderson, about emotional civility and just getting down to the heart of yourself and your own histories, as Clyde Rivers mentioned. It's just, I love what you said about histories colliding, because that's so much of what we teach about understanding why you believe what you do and who has influenced you and why you act the way you do. We teach that what you believe influences what you see, and what you see influences what you do. So put another way, what you believe influences your perceptions, and your perceptions influence your prescriptions.
Right.
So
Right.
we have gone on to meet wonderful people, and I do want to mention our definition of government is elected officials, staff, and constituents. So we all are a part of this. This is not just about someone far off in a state capital, or the mayor's office, or their national government. This is about all of us, because we all have a role to play. And my colleague Tomas is going to share with you a few of our programs that we've developed and some of what's coming up.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much again, Dr. Sharon and Dr. Clyde. This is wonderful, and we need to continue the conversation amongst ourselves so that we continue to build the civility movement around the country. Our work is a result of our relationship, because she disagrees with me, and I tell her that I'm right, and she can't tell me that I'm wrong. And so Representative Bill Archer is the person that saw that in both of us. And so he's the one that challenged us to start something, to do something, to create more ideas. Because the groups that we took to Washington, D.C. brought him ideas that he could use in his committee processes. And he told us, multiply yourselves. So we have 3 programs. One is that we have taken adults and student groups to Washington, D.C. on legislative programs. And we basically teach them Government 101, the responsibilities of a citizen. And these programs have been life-changing experiences. We've taken gang leaders to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And they have changed their lives in front of my eyes. I can go on forever.
Yeah.
But I can't do that right now.
We talked about that, Tom.
The second program that we have is we thought it would be wise to bring us people who are elected officials from Washington, D.C. to have dialogues in their districts at home, at local universities, and to bring university students to have like a town hall meeting. But instead of just having one member present, invite 2 members, a Republican and a Democratic member of Congress. And at the town hall meetings, when you have a Republican in the front of the room, I have gone to many of these, and I can guarantee you that everybody in the room, when there's a Republican in the front, walks out of the room thinking that the Democrats blocked every single piece of legislation. The Democrats didn't do anything right. And on the very same day, I have attended Democratic town hall meetings. I was talking about the same issues, the same bills. And he says, it's the blooming Republicans that blocked us from being able to take it to the floor of Congress. And that dynamic is in our political system. It's created so that the two parties fight
all the time.
And it's up to us citizens to bring a different view.
It's really good.
And to bring civility.
Yes.
And so our movement is about creating a civility movement across our country and the world to encourage everybody to learn that every person has a story.
That's right.
Every person needs to be heard. And then our third program that we have done is called Civility Trainings, because after about 5 or 6 years into this process, our phone was ringing. Can you do civility training? Can you do civility training? So I looked at her and she looked at me and what's civility training? But we have one. This morning, we finished civility training, a virtual civility training with
Congratulations.
Eastern Tennessee Justice District.
Awesome.
And they were blown away.
Awesome.
Blown away. Because
Awesome.
we gave them vocabulary to use when there's differences of opinion.
Yes.
That's right.
And that's what our civility training addresses.
That's right.
So that's what we need to do. And so we work with the Worldwide Civility Council, which is another group that you need to be aware of. And I'm sure you're going to be inviting them to participate in one of your programs. But Mr. Russ Charvonia is the leader. And we put together a conference called The Urgency of Civility, which is going to be it'll take place in May May 18th and 19th virtually. And we're bringing together people that'll share some civility lectures. And we're also going to be bringing some elected officials so that we have a dialogue with some elected officials to work together and to build the civility movement. And so we can invite you, if you wish to be a part of that, just Google search urgencyofcivility.org, and it'll take you right to a nice website, and you can participate and join us to continue the movement. Is this?
And I'll just chime in that all of our civility training, all of our legislative seminars, the number one ground rule for congressional student forums, anything that we do, civility is the number one ground rule. And we base all this on a book that we wrote years ago called Reclaiming Civility in the Public Square, 10 Rules That Work. Mm-hmm. And it's out there, and all those rules are based on our experiences walking the halls of Congress. And each rule has a true life civility story. So you know it's not just something we're dreaming of or wishing for, but it works.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, again, just thank you so much for accepting this award. You certainly are amazing. And certainly, I think the listeners can understand why you have received the Legacy Award, because your work has been just life-changing and continues to be life-changing. And for us in the United States, and I'm sure for all of you that are watching around the world, you did see what occurred here at our Capitol on January 6th. And so while there's always been a need for civility, in government, we certainly know in the United States of America why civility in government, why there is an urgency for civility right now, so that nothing like that in the United States of America ever happens again. So thank you for... Yes.
And Thomas and Cassandra, I want to thank you. If you didn't blaze a trail we have no place to walk.
That's right.
So thank you
Oh.
for opening avenues for us. It's because of you and your work that we have access to things we have access to. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
But you
Thank
see,
you.
I'm a preacher too, and I pass it on to somebody else. The real person who challenged us to do this was Representative Bill Archer.
Amen.
who-
Amen. That's
who-
right. So
uh,
again, Presbyterian preachers and Baptist
Wow.
preachers and non-denominational preachers on the line, but again, it crosses religions, but as you said, you blazed a trail. And as I was telling Dr. Rivers, and we were praying about and talking about who I would like to recognize, the Lord led me to your page. And as I was writing my book and doing the research, I certainly could have not started this conference and this movement that God has given me to work and Vineyard to work in without honoring you. So thank you again.
so
And
much.
we so appreciate your work and look forward to working with you further.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Amen. Amen. That was a good one, right, Dr. Rivers? God is good.
They're phenomenal.
Phenomenal. So let's us move on. Our next awardee, and I'm going to ask you to introduce this powerful young woman, and that's Sayum Shaw. She is receiving the Emotional Civility and Youth Civility Award.
Soyam Shaw is, in my opinion, which is probably biased, she is one of the great young people in this world today. Her life, every weekend, her and her family are out in Kenya, some part of the world, making a difference. She is one of the overseers of over 150,000 young people in the Lions Club, the actual young people. And she is, her life is the epitome of service, genuine, kind heart. She's an entrepreneur, but she gives back to make a difference in the world. And there's no other person in the world that I believe qualifies for this award more than her. Soyam Shaw.
Soyam Shaw. Welcome, and congratulations to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon Anderson, and always my mentor, my guru, Dr. Sir Clyde Rivers. Thank you very much. It is indeed an amazing opportunity to be honored with this award of emotional civility, something that is very close to my heart. So first and foremost, I must thank you both for recognizing and nominating me to be a part of this wonderful program and to help my contribution in this movement. Just to share with you a little bit about some of the stuff that we do and why I feel that emotional civility is extremely important to me. Because respect is not given, respect is earned. So just to share with you what I mean by that, a little bit of what I'm passionate about. Growing up for the past 20 years, I have been able to see how respect is earned. I've been able, through the Lions Club's international platform, to see how to work with children and underprivileged from a very young age, and to be able to understand what gratitude is. Due to this, I've been able to work with children from all around the world and in all shapes, forms, and sizes. People with disability, I work with the Special Olympics. I've been working with the Dumpster Baby program, the orphans. I've been working with children who don't know how to write. I've been working with all sorts of children, and this has become my passion to shape a better future for tomorrow. So this leads me with why it is important that this topic is raised and why we're here to create awareness and my role in it. So for me, it's all about educating our next generation, educating our children, also educating our youth, ambassadors, and the millennials. When we talk about one of my core passions is literally promoting civility through children and youth. Through this, I feel that children goes beyond, the teaching children civility goes beyond being polite and courteous. It is important for all of us to teach the next generation and the younger generation to be open-minded, learn how to disagree respectfully, teach them how to seek a common ground of understanding, to help us create solutions to problems. I heard you earlier speaking to Dr. Rivers about some situations that you faced with the police and all. Isn't it important that we start teaching our next generation on how to deal with these situations from now,
Yeah.
rather than if we want to make a positive movement? Isn't it
Absolutely.
important? Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. And isn't it
Absolutely.
important that we start advocating the importance of being a person and treating everyone with respect and kindness? And
Absolutely.
personally, through my journey with Dr. Rivers, I've been so inspired and learned so much. And our goal here today is to be working with the youth, our next generation, and the next youth ambassadors to learn about creating skills and teaching them about empathy, problem solving, perspective taking, and help in nurturing the children and shaping them for tomorrow.
Wow.
These are areas in civility that I believe are the most important for us to advocate for. Giving people a voice is the most important thing, and not just anyone. We need to give people who need to be heard, the local people, the grassroots people, the people who are
Yes.
having problems.
Absolutely.
You know, I always tell Dr. Rivers that it's easy to watch on TV what's happening around the world, but unless you go and see it and do things with your own hands, you're never going to understand the impact
That's
of
right.
what is going
Wow.
around.
Wow.
That's right. You're so right.
And earlier I mentioned to you that before we used to take something like oxygen for granted. And look at the situation we are in now.
Yeah.
And also, Dr. Rivers and I have also had several conversations about how millennials have changed the perspective, their perspective on how maybe they're not as grateful as our elder generation, because a lot of things they get on a golden plate, and social media plays a big deal. So it's really important for us to advocate civility now, to teach them the right path in life if we want to change the future. So just to share
Absolutely.
that the famous words of Martin Luther King would always say, the time is always right to do the right thing.
Wow.
It's never too late.
Yes. Phenomenal.
And when we talk about emotional civility, there are 3 traits that I would like to share with you, which are very personal to my heart and my understanding, is honesty. Treat everyone with honesty. Treat everyone fair. No one is more superior than another. We're all the same. We're all the same. Have self-control and think before you speak.
Mm.
Always think before you speak.
Yes.
These are 3 aspects in my personal life, in my personal teaching, where I believe that if we want to promote emotional civility, we need to educate to be the true pioneers in teaching the same. And especially for children, if we start this at a younger age, at their adolescent stage, with the help of many youth advocating for the same, it will only help us to demonstrate respect and cultivate the immediate interest for them to get a better future, to even build themselves further. I'm not saying that we can change everything in the world, but we can definitely make a difference.
Yes.
And in the years to come, it would hopefully cultivate into a better place that we've been in. So
That,
I just wanted to share with you a few of my thoughts on this subject matter and things that are really passionate to me. And once again, I really do thank both of you for honoring me with this award. And I
absolutely.
cannot wait to work
Great
with
lady.
you and change
Yes.
and cultivate the shape of the.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Thank you so very much.
Yes.
What
Yes.
a
Head
wonderful
of the class.
leader. My
Head of the
God,
class.
absolutely, absolutely. Your voice and your passion and your commitment and concern for this issue and for the youth of our world just resounds and comes through so loud and clear. So thank you for being that leader for us. I think you read my book though, because a lot of what you were sharing in terms of empathy and tolerance and patience, I do unpack that in my book. And so we're very so aligned in our thoughts about this. And you just really impacted us in a way that I think is going to resound or continues to resound in our nation. One thing that I also wanted to mention, again, the importance of teaching our youth is critical. And I do know that Tomas and Cassandra have been doing that. But also, I don't know if I told you, Dr. Rivers, I'm actually doing that as well now. I've taught emotional civility in the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services.
Oh, wow.
Not only in DC, so not only to the youth, but also to the workers that are working with the youth. So the correctional officers, and then those that are coming, they're called credible messengers. So they're previously incarcerated individuals that now come back and begin to work with the youth and bridge that gap. And oftentimes they have not learned civility and emotional civility because they're coming right out of a correctional environment. And so we have to teach them, like you said, Ms. Shaw, rather, to understand the importance of a civility so that they can teach it to those that they're working with so that we can begin to replicate it. I'm also teaching emotional civility in a program in Washington, D.C. called the Children of Mine Youth Center. And we are teaching inner city youth about civility and about their voice and about the importance of replicating and modeling it. So you certainly are a wonderful voice and a wonderful example. And I look forward to working with you on so many different areas. Thank you so much.
And you know, it'll be great to have Soyum come to America and be a part of our forums here.
Absolutely.
And help bring an international flavor. So Soyum, we will invite you to America to be a part of some of these platforms for civility.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Thank you. As always, you both inspire me tremendously. Dr. Sharon, I've been following you pretty much, and I'm very much inspired by your work, and I cannot wait to work with you.
I look forward to it. So congratulations again. And we are so excited about you, the work that you're doing, and certainly this award. It's just a small piece of contribution that we can make to honor the work that you're doing. So thank you so much. So we're going higher and higher. Awesome. 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 Yes, I look forward to working with her. Great, tremendous impact, Yes. So now we're going on to civility in business. And I'm also going to allow you to introduce Sophia Lull. So take it away. She is received and is our honoree for emotional civility in business, leading in making sure that we have gender equality and certainly recognize civility in the business world.
Yeah, Dr. Sophia Lull was the 2019 Civility Woman of the Year for Africa. You will not find a more passionate, fair person in the world. Her Pure Pearl Foundation and just knowing her as a person and having spent time with her and her family, she is a walking example of justice.
Yes.
And see, the one thing about her is her life models it, because she's actually mild but strong, and she knows how to get the job done. The world is a better place because of Dr. Sophia Lull.
Dr. Lull, congratulations, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us. I had the opportunity to share the stage with you. I think it was last Saturday. So here we are again, and you are so impressive to me. It's sometimes hard for us as women to remain civil in a business environment where they try to beat us down and everything is against us. But Dr. Rivers is right. Your grace, your poise, your stance in the face of adversity has been such a powerful example for women across this world. And the work that you do in the Pure Pearl Foundation cannot go unnoticed. So please talk to us about your work and your life in civility.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon Anderson, and Your Excellency, Dr. Clyde Rivers. I am extremely honored to be receiving such an important award of emotional civility. I am truly humbled and honestly grateful for the recognition. So let me start off by saying thank you very much for this wonderful award. I have faced several challenges on my way here, but each one of them has only strengthened me to make me the person I am today, a thorough professional who knows exactly what she wants, someone who sees her eyes on a goal and does not stop until she achieves it. So
Yes.
winning this award would not have been possible without the inspiration you have given Dr. Sharon Anderson, and without the support of colleagues, and without my mentor and role model, His Excellency Dr. Clyde Rivers. I am grateful, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I sincerely thank each and every one of you for giving me this award. And I also promise it'll only get better, and you'll see me here for more awards in the future,
Yes.
God willing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So what does civility mean to you? And tell us a little bit about the Pearl Foundation and the work that your great foundation has been doing.
Thank you. Civility is actually very important, and it entails the basic manners of treating everyone with consideration, respect, understanding, and honesty. As Mahatma Gandhi has said, civility does not mean the mere outward gentleness of speech cultivated for the occasion, but an inborn gentleness and desire to do the opponent good. So, and the heart of civility lies what we all know as the Golden Rule, which His Excellency Dr. Clyde Rivers always ensures to teach and preach, and we've learned that we do unto others as you would have them done unto you. So it's treating people with respect. Emotional civility calls for cultural and religious tolerance, encouraging diversity and opening up communities to dialogue. At the Pure Pearl Foundation, we deal with large differences and people from all walks of life. We deal with issues relating to gender-based violence. We deal with issues relating to counter-violence extremism. We help the needy, the widows, the orphans. That requires us to treat each and every person with respect. And so civility fosters respect, because every human being wants to be treated with respect. So showing courtesy to others is the simplest form of respect and civility.
Yes.
Civility also impacts leadership, because as leaders, it's important for us to show roles of working with others and understanding and being empathetic and listening to their needs. So as leaders, we have to be able to be compassionate and be empathetic. Civility also influences success, because everything that you do from home to the workplace to our communities, we're dealing with people. So we have to be our best selves and do the best work so that we can positively impact others and they may replicate the same actions. It also enhances, civility also enhances communications in terms of promoting positive communication, productive dialogue, and peaceful coexistence between communities. So to me, emotional civility is very, very important and quite fundamental in the world that we're living in right now, where there's a lot of bitter hate, negativity, and division. We need to understand that we're all human beings, and the problems that we're facing are created by human beings. So the solutions lie within us. Yes, and
Absolutely.
by promoting civility and by being respectful to each other, by being empathetic, honest, compassionate, understanding, we shall be able to find a solution. And although the problems that we're dealing with are global, I believe the solutions are local. And it starts with us by treating each other with the common decency and respect
Yes.
that is required. At Pure Pearl Foundation, we do acts of civility by showing kindness to others. We ensure that we do each and every day an act of kindness, whether it's giving food to the most vulnerable in society, paying for school fees for those who are unable to go to school, having a mentorship program where we encourage the young girls to have self-belief and personally develop themselves, educating them, informing them, because knowledge is power. And knowledge is the weapon we need to change the world, as Nelson Mandela has stated. So when we educate and inform the young ones, the women, the communities, and our societies about the importance of living with each other with respect, understanding that our commonalities are much greater than our differences. And even though we have differences, how can we respectfully disagree with each other and still live and treat each other with respect? So I encourage all of our leaders to basically emulate and practice, because it's not easy. As human beings, we have emotions, so we have to, it's a discipline that's required to basically watch our emotions, learn to accept that, you know, instead of reacting, we learn to respond, understand the other person's point of view, and move forward, and coexist together, because we're all equal in the eyes of God.
Absolutely. I love what you said, and it really is at the heart of emotional civility. We are humans, and we do have have emotions. We all do. And I love when you said we have to learn not just to react, but to respond. And so the book that I'm launching, and I think this movement is really beginning to teach people and remind people that everyone has emotions, and that if you don't respond and you react, as Dr. Rivers said in the beginning, you know, that's what causes domestic violence. That's what causes divorce. That's what gets people locked up. That's what causes the violent reaction, because we're not responding to our own emotions. We're not managing our emotions. And all of that is through the filter of civility. But oftentimes, because we as human beings, depending upon where we come from and what life has thrown at us, are beaten down so badly that we've reacted before we've even begun to learn how to respond. And sometimes the result of that can cause us to live a life that we did not desire to live, whether it's being incarcerated, whether again it's without a family, whether it's in a place or a position that we did not want to find ourselves in. And so your comments were wonderful. Your modeling is wonderful. Your power is wonderful. The peace you bring and the dialogue that you bring to this field of influence is absolutely wonderful. And we thank you for being a leader and a leader of emotional civility in business. Dr. Rivers, anything to add?
Yeah, the best in the world.
Indeed.
That's a wrap.
Truly
Indeed.
honored. Thank you so
Indeed.
much. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for the
much. And
honor.
we look, absolutely, and we look forward to working with you.
I do.
God
Thank
bless you. God
Thank
bless you.
God bless you too.
God bless you. The best of the best, Dr. Rivers. You certainly bought me the best of the best.
Man.
Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. And certainly last but not least, we have Her Excellency, Dr. Justine Mutale, and she is receiving the Emotional Civility Diplomat Award. Her Excellency has been globally recognized and acclaimed as one of the most influential and inspirational African women. In 2012, she was named as Woman of the Year. She is an international executive leadership expert. She has co-authored about women on corporate boards and international perspectives. She is the founder of the Justina Mutale Foundation and Scholarship Program, where she advocates for gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. She is the recipient of the Mandela 100 Prize, the International 100 Most Influential Black People in the United Kingdom, and the Black 100 Hall of Fame, and I could go on and on and on. But I am truly honored, absolutely honored to have Her Excellency Justine Mutale here with us today to tell us about her work in the sphere of civility, and certainly to honor her and the great work that she has done. She is truly a trailblazer and a light in our nation and in our globe. Welcome and congratulations.
If you don't mind me adding something.
Yes, please.
I'm going to go with one of the most powerful women in the world.
In the world.
In the whole world. This one here is one of the most powerful in the world. You heard it first from Sir Clyde Rivers, the best in the globe.
In the globe. And if you said it, that settles it, sir. So Dr. Mutale, thank you. Thank you. I can't even begin to tell you how honored I am that you would say yes to coming with us today and just receiving this award and talking about the great work and the importance of civility in our world today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon, and thank you, Sir Clive Rivers. I'm very honored to be receiving this, for having been nominated, and of course to be receiving this very, very prestigious awards. Of course, I've received so many awards from all over the world, but nothing beats this. You see, as an African, civility comes very naturally to me. As an African, we thrive on respect. We thrive on compassion, tolerance, patience, and civility with each and every person that we meet. We thrive on respect, kindness, compassion, tolerance, and civility for authority, subordinates, workers, co-workers, colleagues, parents, children, of course, friends and enemies. We have respect and kindness, compassion, tolerance, patience, and civility with anyone that crosses our path in life. And this is because, as an African, I believe in the African philosophy of Ubuntu, which tells us that I am because you are, and that humanity shares one common bond, and that we all belong to a greater whole. So your suffering is my suffering. Suffering of others is our own suffering. Yes. And of course, Ubuntu fits into the golden rule that Sir Clive Rivers is always propagating: to do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. And this applies in each and every religion of the world. Because no one, have you ever come across someone saying, please do unto me worse than I have done?
Come on.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so I have, I focus on, of course, trying to advocate for gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls, because I know that the feminine spirit is the closest to God.
Yes.
And we have to aspire almost to be like God. God should be our role model.
Yes.
After all, nobody's more affluent than God.
That's right. That's right.
So to do with that, I have written a book that highlights a few of the civility drivers that we are talking about. My book, I don't know if you can see.
Hey, that book is one of the greatest books I've read.
The Art of Iconic Leadership. Is that what it says?
Is.
All right.
And it goes on to say power secrets of female world leaders.
Oh, I need that. I need that. I need that.
So
Yes.
in this book, I highlight three of the civility drivers, of course. We have empathy, compassion, and emotional intelligence. And when we go back to Ubuntu also has been reflected in globalization.
Yes.
When I say that your suffering is my suffering, or the suffering is the suffering of others is our own suffering, we have seen, for example, most recently, the 2008 economic crash that happened on Wall Street affected each and every part of the world. And now we are living in the era of COVID-19.
That's right.
So, but if there's anything positive that has come out of the COVID-19 era, it is that this is an era that has proved that given the same opportunities, remember, I am talking about women.
Yes.
And women leadership.
Yes.
So if there's anything that positive that has come out of the COVID-19 era, it is that this is an era that has proved that given the same opportunities, female leaders have what it takes to handle a crisis as good as or even much better than their male counterparts.
Yes.
In one of the toughest years that has tested the mettle of every leader and every head of state or head of government across the whole globe, it is in those countries that are led by women that have proved the far greater mettle in their response to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the management of the pandemic, at national level, women leaders have used their uncommon sense of natural instinct and, of course, natural wisdom, which comes with civility, to employ a different approach than that used by their male counterparts. In tackling this virus, women leaders have utilized their sixth sense, their soft leadership skills, and of course, empathetic approach. And this approach, which is a marked departure from their male model of operation, has resulted in completely different and much better outcomes for those countries led by women. You will know that from time immemorial, women leaders have triumphed in situations where men believed were unwinnable. Over the ages, women have demonstrated their power to lead effectively in times of crisis. This is because in times of crisis, women seem to tend to deploy a sixth sense, civility filled with a high degree of emotional intelligence, empathy, compassion, care, and motherly instinct, which leads to more effective ways of resolving matters in any given situation. To tackle the pandemic, women leaders have gone far and beyond the call of duty to protect their countries and their populations. They have brought to the public spheres what most women or mothers would do at home to care for a sick child, family member, and they have used these soft skills and their civility, of course, which give them the capability to care for their own children, family, and loved ones. And these women leaders have multiplied this. They have multiplied this to give and protect their countries and the world's population, to preserve humanity. So that is what we do with civility as women.
Yes.
You tune into the feelings of the people around you, the people that depend on you, the people that you are connected with. As in female world leaders, it is the world that the countries that they lead, the populations and citizens that they lead. They tuned into that and to see, how do I protect my population? How do I protect my citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic? And when you look around, the top 6 countries in the world that have managed the pandemic are those that are led by women. This is because women have the highest emotional civility, emotional intelligence, compassion, tolerance, care, love. These women have given love to their communities, love to their workers. Overnight, everything changed, and women find themselves multitasking as mothers, as wives, as home carers, as teachers at
Teachers,
home.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
but they have led with civility, with respect, with love. They've led humanity through a very uncharted territory in these
Yes.
very unprecedented times.
Absolutely.
So that is what, to me, civility is all about. It's about tuning into the needs of the people around you. And
Right.
of course, it's also understanding where the people around you are coming from and being sympathetic and empathetic so that you handle the situation that you find yourself in or they find themselves in. You deal with that with civility. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for this award. I'm most grateful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Great
I mean,
lady.
phenomenal,
Great lady.
phenomenal,
Great lady.
phenomenal. Certainly why you are a global leader in for all women. For all
Modern
women.
day,
It's such a powerful example.
she's a modern day hero
Yes.
that people can look
Absolutely.
up to.
Absolutely. 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 And we thank God for you and your voice and your work and your commitment. And thank you for being here and receiving and accepting this award. Phenomenal. If we could bring everyone back on the line, because I do have a surprise for Dr. Rivers. I don't know if he did indeed see the media that spot that we had prior to starting, but I could not conclude this award ceremony without giving you, Dr. Rivers, the Civility Icon Award from KCG Consulting Services. And
Wow.
you
Thank you so
are
much.
truly, and I think we all know it on the line. Certainly, everyone that ever comes in contact with you leaves better, leaves empowered, leaves more knowledgeable, and actually leaves ready to change the world. You pull out giftings and talents that we often don't even know that's in us, and if we do know that's in us, we hear God through you when you speak and get confirmation about what God has planted within us. And then you make sure not just that we know it, but you water it, and you encourage it, you compel us to be better human beings, not just for ourselves, but because you really do care about the world. I'm going to start to cry. You really do care about civility. This is not just a platform for you. You care about the world being civil, being healed, people being treated with equality. And God has certainly planted you on this earth, as the Bible says in Esther, for such a time as this, so that we can see total transformation, not just in the United States, but across the globe in every country, and not just for one religion, but for every religion, and not just for one race, but for every race. And so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I know that everyone on this line, and certainly those that have worked with you before, I'm echoing the sentiments that they have. We want to thank you for your voice, for your leadership, for your commitment, for your unwavering dedication to the Golden Rule, and for making sure that this movement echoes throughout every hall of government, every sphere of influence, business, youth, women, men, Black, white, boy, girl. We thank you, Dr. Rivers. And so from the bottom of my heart, I give you the Emotional Civility Icon Award from KCG Consulting Services.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, man. This is humbling. I have a simple philosophy in life. Make everybody great and we all win. Make everyone you come in contact with, make them great, and we live in a better world. Thank you so much. I'm humbled and honored to be in the category of the people you have on this stage. This is the best in the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that this was absolutely phenomenal. There is certainly more that you will hear about the topic of emotional civility. I did want everyone just to have a last few parting words for those that are watching us, and certainly we will be back together soon. But again, I am Dr. Sharon Anderson, and Cassandra and Thomas, if you would start and just give any last parting remarks before we close out.
That is so kind of you to return to us, because of course there was one thing I forgot, which is that civility is absolutely foundational to every other problem we face. Because if we can't talk with one another in a respectful way, we can't do anything else. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Tomas?
What comes to my mind is that civility is difficult. It's hard work. It's not something that's real easy, because, we can offend one another so easily these days. I moved from Argentina to Chile when I was a little boy, and I was on a little bus, and this gorgeous Chilean gal sat next to me, and my heart was aflutter, and she smiled at me, I smiled at her. We all speak Spanish. And she asked me, "What time is it?" And I said, "Oh, it's 3:15. And she stood up and she just blasted me. She just told me where to go. Like I really said something very awful. But I was from Argentina, and the phrase that I used meant it's a little after 3:00. But she blew up. And so I went to find out why by going to a Chilean boy. I told him what happened to me on a bus. He started to laugh, just laughed his head off. And I said, "Well, what did I tell her?" "Well, you said it's 3:00. Let's go to bed." That story I'll never forget, because you need to go past the first thing. If something doesn't go right, there's a reason for it.
Right.
And go and find out about it.
Yes.
And when you find out, you enrich yourselves and you learn how to communicate a little bit better.
Yeah.
The phrase that I used in Argentina didn't work in Chile.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, thank you, Cassandra and Tomas, for being here, and congratulations on your award. Soyum, last words, parting words?
Yes, thank you so much. Let me just make it short and sweet. But after hearing all our awardees today, hearing yourself and Dr. Rivers, I think the message is loud and clear. We all are here to share the same purpose of civility. Alone, you can only do so much, but together, we can make a difference and we can make a change. And it all starts with us. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and let's make a change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Sophia?
Yes, I'll say that the word civil is a synonym for humane. So civility is a fundamental part of our human structure, our human condition. Let us continue to look at things on the positive side, be optimistic, practice civility, treat each other with respect, compassion, empathy, and love. Let us love each other and respect each other. God bless you all. You're phenomenal people, and I'm honored, truly honored, to have shared a platform with incredible global leaders. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharon Anderson.
Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. And Dr. Mutali?
I just want to, of course, once again, I want to thank you and congratulate all the recipients, and to thank you, Dr. Sharon and Sir Clyde Rivers. I just wanted to say that in these trying times of COVID-19, we all don't know what's going to happen to us, whether we are going to be alive tomorrow or the next day. And of course, we also have other issues on top of that. We have the Me Too movement. When I talk about being in a feminist global movement, we have the issues of Black Lives Matter. We have Asian Lives Matter. all human lives matter. We need to remember that we are all humanity, and therefore we all need to live our lives with civility and shared values based on love, harmony, unity, and of course, civility as one global happy human family. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, I am Dr. Sharon Anderson, CEO of KCG Consulting Services, the new paradigm, emotional civility. We will learn more about it as time goes on. Please look out for my book, Emotional Civility, the New Standard for Global Success. It will be on the bookshelves very shortly. Civility for all is important. We are better together. Emotional civility means that you need to manage your emotions and understand how you process things so that when you do interact with someone else, you will be able to interact with love, respect, tolerance, and patience. And I believe that we can change the world if all of us begin to treat each other with the standard of civility and act with emotional civility. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. And congratulations to all of our awardees. Dr. Rivers, I know, had to drop off. And we thank God for our co-host. And again, please make sure that you join us and look out for us on Facebook. I'm at KCG Consults or at Dr. Sharon Empowers. God bless you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.